Hey, how you guys doing? Michael X. So T57 heavy full review. That means we're gonna look at the armor, everything. I did want to talk about this vehicle and artillery a little bit. We're gonna touch on a couple different topics while we're looking at this. This is actually a very simple tank to play, but I'm gonna say when you first get it, you may hate it because, well, I'm just gonna say that its reverse speed's only 12. But we're going to cover all that. And I'm also going to try and implement some of the replay system. So, meaning I could show other people's perspectives a little bit, but it doesn't show reticles. It doesn't give you the option to see reticles, or at least I haven't figured out how to do that. So, I'm going to cover just the basic stuff about this vehicle. We're going to talk about best ways to play this vehicle, and you guys are going to see that this is a very good example of using this vehicle's DPM and reload in conjunction with other players. Now, you can be very aggressive with this vehicle if people are not using heat shells. So, covering the stats on this: 35 forward, 12 in reverse. The gun, 25 seconds reload, 2.9 on the aim time, 35% accuracy, 12 elevation, 8 gun depression, 4 round clip. 30 degrees of rotation speed, 400 meters of view range with 36. So in combination, you should be able to keep light tanks off of you. It actually still has a decent turning radius with the turret combined. So if you get YOLO'd by like a bat shot or something, you should be able to take care of him without giving too much of your side armor. And of course, 745 meters on radius range. So this has three shells. It has AP, heat, and HE. So 258 for 400 alpha, 340 for 400 alpha, and of course 60 millimeters of pin for 515. Which I'm going to go ahead and say you probably shouldn't even use HE. You do not get rewarded for using HE on the console. I do want to mention there's something wrong with the, being able to see through the vehicle. They should actually make the components like a light blue or maybe even a red color, because you can't see them. I don't know if you guys could see that. I lowered my gamma a little bit and I could see the modules a little better, but if you guys look at it, it's actually got some decent overall armor. Looking at it on the PC version, it really only has these weaknesses here, which can be taken advantage of. Everywhere that's red is pretty much a pin, a bounce location. You can pin the hatch. You can actually blind the vehicle by shooting those purple pegs coming out. You guys can see that the upper plate is really thick, and it's very trolly like the E5, but I'm going to say that when RNG is not on your side, it seems like everything can pin you. And I've actually been in games where I haven't fired but maybe 3 shells and got killed by being focus fired because this tank's so deadly. Although if you guys look here, it shows you can't side scrape it because it won't actually, like right here you can see that there's not a lot of armor there. You actually can side scrape this on the console. I don't know why. You're talking 76 millimeters in combination with, I think it's 50 for the tracks. Should actually be, well, yeah, it says here that behind the tracks, it's actually an angled armor plate for 50, and then 20 for the tracks, so 50 plus 20. So I decided to go ahead and fast forward this. I thought you guys might think it's funny because it sounds like chipmunks. Just till we get to the action. So you guys might notice I switched straight to heat on this. Which I'm going to tell you guys that if you play on East Coast server and you're from West Coast, I'm going to say that you bounce AP shells like crazy. And so I actually practice this vehicle a lot on East Coast so that when I scrim people, I know where to shoot. You guys will watch me actually over angle and shoot at targets that you wouldn't normally shoot at, like here. You guys can actually see that I got sparks off of him but didn't get a pin, so it was either a registration problem or I actually hit nothing. Seriously. So, something to mention about this vehicle is talk about equipments and perk that you probably are going to want to have in this. Now, to make this actually effective, I personally think that you need a minimum of 6 perks for this vehicle. If you have 4, you're going to struggle with it, and it's because of the new update. Changed your gun. It changed the gun handling. So when you're looking left and right, you really do need to have, you know, snapshot. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the ventilation, vertical stabilizer, and enhanced gun lane drive will make this thing a lot better. You know, when it comes to its really long aim time. As you guys can see, that reticle, it has to be fully in to hit something. Seriously, it really does. And smooth ride snapshot definitely needed. I'm going to say obviously you're going to need 6th Sense, Brothers in Arms. And of course, I like to use repairs and track mechanic to get, you know, to save me having to use my repairs a lot. Now, if you guys notice, I bounced 2 shells there, and I'm going to tell you how come I'm bouncing him and he wasn't bouncing me, and it's because I was using heat. Which I did want to mention, this vehicle can bounce standard shells like crazy. Seriously, and I've noticed it myself, and I've also noticed that the AP shells act like they probably more have, like, I'm gonna say that it feels to me like they don't really have 258 with a standard AP. To me, they feel like they're, I'm gonna say they feel a lot less than that. So you guys might wonder why I didn't fire there. And that's because I know that's a shot that couldn't be made with this vehicle. Seriously. You can hit areas at range like that, but that's pretty much it. So at this point in my grind for the T57 Heavy, I'm at 62% on my mark. After this game, I'm going to be up at 64 point, I think it's 7.7, which means this is going to be a big game when it comes to damage and stuff. Yeah, okay, so I'm overextending, and I know it. I also think to myself, any second I'm going to get spotted, and artillery is just going to waste me, and probably even tank destroyers. I think I notice about right here that I'm overextended, but I get spotted here, and I'm like, here's some easy damage. Just farm this guy up. I'm going to go ahead and back up. Now, I've played artillery on this map before, and this is a very hard place to hit a tank. So I feel comfortable here. I feel comfortable, but I do know it's possible for me to get hit. And I'm sitting there going, oh, E100, you know, he's a one shot. Maybe I can do this. So I'm really risking it here. I'm going to tell you guys, I would not recommend doing what I'm doing right now, seriously. But I did want to show you guys, under certain circumstances, you can see that the team is just getting obliterated on that right side. And it's funny because when I get over there, there aren't any tier 10s over there. Seriously. I don't even know where their tier 10s are, and I'm just going to tell you that right now. There's their E4. Now, what I really want here is I want to get spots on the artillery, and the reason why is that, if you guys look, I have a full health kit. And why would I have a full health kit, if you guys think about that? Obviously, it gives you 20%, you know, or sorry, 30% boost to your crew's health. But if you get hit with artillery, it usually kills 2 people in the turret. Now, I've been one-shotted about 4 times in this vehicle since I've owned it, and I've also been one-shotted in the E5. It's the difference between when people use, I'll say, HE and armor piercing. Armor piercing can absolutely win the day. So I realized that I've overextended. Somebody even warned me, but I'm going to tell you, I wasn't actually looking at any of that. When people mark the map, I usually ignore it because there's so many spammers out there. But I realized that I'm overextended and I need to regroup with the team if we have any chance of winning this. I was the aggressor here. And I wanted to tell you that what I'm doing right here in this game, you know, going up this right side alone is not something you guys should do. If you guys are real close to getting your mark of excellence and you guys want to, you know, push for every bit of damage you can get, I was really hoping to run into those artillery to get them out of the game, because then I can start playing in areas of the map that I can't play now. Artillery has become so OP recently in the last couple updates that I'm going to say that I really don't know when my next video is going to be, seriously. And I'm not kidding you when I say that. Like, I'm serious. Playing and trying to get any kind of mark of excellence with artillery, one-shotting you. I've been getting one-shotted at least twice a day, or having an artillery sit there and focus me out and kill me. Seriously. And I do believe this guy right here that just got killed was probably the reason why we got so many guys killed over here. Seriously. He was sitting there. Nobody really goes to the spot. Artillery probably was picking on him. I know that if I can get behind this hill, I should be safe from artillery. I see a bat chat and I'm like, wonder if he's reloaded or not. Seriously. Wonder if he's reloaded. I'm like, he knows I'm here. I can do 1,500 damage. He could pretty much clip me out. Now, I haven't taken any damage so far. I'm not too worried about the bat chat. I'm going to go ahead and fire one shell here. Take out this tier 9. Now I can see that there's some stuff coming from behind here. And I was really hoping to get a track shot there on him, but I didn't get anything. Now I'm not too worried about the guy behind us. I'm not too worried, but if you guys look, we are losing. I managed to kill, 2 tanks here to get it up, and you can see that he's actually fully reloaded now, and he's gonna go ahead and YOLO me. Now watch how many shells I bounce off of him. You see, he only got 1 pin out of that entire clip he just shot at me. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, really not a YOLO you want to make. Like I said, APCRs, AP shells will bounce this thing like on demand. So I'm gonna say that there really aren't any rewards these days for using standard shells, other than knowing that maybe if you do play and use standard shells, that you probably have a little bit better skill than the normal person. But I'm going to go ahead and say that they are a part of the game. And you guys can tell I haven't used one standard shell. I use my standard shells like HE because they really aren't effective at range. But now that I have my mark of excellence, I really don't care. I'll probably use a lot more standard shells. I find that in really laggy rooms, the standard shells work really well. But when you have a good connection with the server, it seems like it's heat or nothing with this vehicle. But I'm going to say that it could just be my connection. Seriously. So this E4 creeping up. I don't know if you guys seen it, but the E5s have just completely disappeared. Which I was actually going to be doing a video here showing you guys what they did to the hatch and how you would have to use it. But I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I personally mothballed my E5 the day that I seen that it said, I wasn't going to be able to have that hatch anymore. I personally believe that the E5 should have the same hatch as this. Just something smaller, or maybe the same hatch as the Chieftain. It really does need that. I mean, it's a paper tank. It was a prototype vehicle to begin with. And they never made it. And they never made the, what is it? The Israelis, when they were using the M48 Patton, the M48 Patton was made for urban assaults. It really was. It was made to be in cities, and it was lightweight enough to be shipped, and had a decent gun on it. But that hatch on it was absolutely horrible. But it protected you from snipers, ground fire. It was really made for Korea, if you ask me. It was not made, and I can tell you that the crazy thing is, in Vietnam, the M103 was like the last American heavy tank to be made, and the reason why was that it's so damn heavy. So getting shot on the move by artillery, you guys can see I'm like on no health now. I'm actually like, the charge I was making just now, seriously, I was just getting ready to make a nice charge over here, and I was like pretty comfortable about going it. Now I'm kind of screwed. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I really want to go and get like 20 pins, maybe even more. I want to get those artilleries out of the game, and I want to take out this what's it called? The tortoise. So I'm thinking to myself that he's still in the same location. I got hit with artillery and just kind of disappeared. But because I was over here, he realized it, and he's going to back up. And I'm not going to see him till it's way too late. He's actually got me detected there, so that was it for me, But this is going to give me an opportunity to go ahead and use the game replay. So from here, I'm going to switch out to the replay system. This is almost immediately after I died, and I was actually kind of disappointed that this guy didn't go into a place where he could get shots on him. I think he actually did have shots, but because he was around the corner, there was nothing he could do. But if he would have been here to begin with when I detected him, I probably would have died, but he could have gotten the kill on the dude. You know, no risk, no reward. So still getting used to the game mechanics of this. So I did want to go ahead and tell you guys that the best way to play this isn't aggressive like I am on here. The best way to play this is to sit back like a medium tank, not in the spawn or anything, but just stay with your team. Don't get separated like I did in this game. Like I said, I was kind of desperate for damage. I've been getting up to 63% on my mark and then dropping down. It only took me 110 games, but I got to tell you that I've had some really bad games in this from being too aggressive. And I'm going to say that you really need to be in a place where you got protection from artillery, heals, and you need time to reload. That means you need to be with teammates. So you need to stay with the lemons. You need to be a lemon train. And what you do basically is you pop out. If you see that there's more than 3 tanks, then back up immediately and don't give them any more. You can side scrape with this vehicle. I have some videos showing me side scraping, for instance, on, I think it's on, not on Cliff, but it's on Pearl. It's not Pearl River, because we don't have that map anymore. It's actually Fisherman's Bay. On Fisherman's Bay is a really good example. I have a game on it where I side scrape against an E5, and he bounces every shell, heat, even HE, just because he was, I'm going to say, not really trying to hit the right spots. But going to go ahead and say that the guy right there, can't read his name, he actually sent me a GG after this. I'm going to say that when I made that push, I kind of thought it was funny he didn't actually go with me, you know, and stood back. But I'm going to say that at tier 10, patience will help you out. And that's really where I was going to go with this, because I kind of got off topic, and that is, with the T57 heavy, you will get pummeled if you try to be super aggressive. If you pop out around a corner and there's 3 tanks there and you fire, you know, all your shells at the 3 tanks that are there, not at 1 tank, you're going to take 3 hits, and that's going to get you killed. So the idea here is to try and focus on individual targets that may be alone by themselves, then be aggressive, because you can take 1 shot and you're going to do 1,500 damage. That's actually as much as a Death Star, you know, with its standard shells. And so that's a good trade. It's a very good trade. So I do like this recording system, but I really do think that we need to be able to save our clips, maybe save them to our PC or OneDrive or something, and then send them somewhere, like, so we can save them. Because having the replay system really sucks if you don't have the end credits. Because I actually didn't have the end credits, and I had to go back. So I did some weird editing here, so don't worry about it. Here you go. So this is the damage we did. This is the medals we got. So as you can see, 64, 59. Not my best game in it. Block 1580. So we're talking a whole clip from this vehicle that we're in. Assisted in some as well. High caliber medal. Destroyed 5 targets, and it was a good clutch. I did die. I overextended at the end of the game, which is something I kind of have a bad habit of doing. But overall, it was a really good game. This tank really does play like the T54E1, and I gotta say that if you have one of those and you like it, if you play it the same, just keep in mind that this thing doesn't go in reverse as fast, which is very unfortunate. I really wish it did 20 in reverse, but anyway, so this is actually the best game I had in it, which was almost immediately after that game we just watched, and I did 7,000 with 18 pins, so pretty good game. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this review on the T57 Heavy. You know, and if you guys would like to add in something, you know, in the future, if you guys want to see more, or if I didn't cover something that you guys would like, let me know. And of course, comment and subscribe. Have a good one. Later.